Shut up, fool!
Hey, man! This makes sense!
Whoa. I looked like the devil there for a second. That only makes sense. Is your God dead? No, it's alive and well in your mind. That's true. Like, in that sense, I'm a theist because I do believe the existence of deities is real in people's minds, but not outside your mind. You got to understand that most theists cannot conceive a God not existing. Their default position is a God does exist. That's the default. And so you have to prove to them that this God can't exist, doesn't exist. I don't know how many people I've talked to I asked them a question, is it possible that our universe exists without any deity, without any God? And how many of them say, no, that's impossible. They can't fathom that idea of intelligent minds. And you got to give them credit. It is pretty amazing that we exist, right? That we can think and reason. And that this planet can barely support life. I shouldn't say barely, but that it can. It's pretty amazing. But you got to remember that that's just one aspect of why people believe, is because they can't imagine us existing without a God. But another one is that they've had these powerful experiences in their life that they can't chalk up to coincidence. They've been emotionally, they've had these powerful emotions. And to that I say, oh, that's great. Your emotions are real, but your attribution's probably false. Like, you can imagine characters in movies so deeply. You could probably even right now make yourself cry by imagining something so powerful and great. So for them, it's like it has to be God that's causing this. But if movies, music, art can manipulate your feelings and emotions in such a way to make you even change your life, drugs can do that too. How sure are you that God is involved with these religious experiences? Anyhow, I pinned the link. I got to be out of here in under 2 hours. And so if someone wants to call in, don't dilly-dally. Call in. Irish Catholic here, losing my faith and very sad. Why are you losing your faith? Maybe call in and I'll build you back up. Yeah, I know that when you leave a religion or leave a belief system, that can be very rough because there's so much tied into it, a lot of sunk costs, a lot of family and friends that are going to be disappointed in you, who are going to cry if you leave. BB, there's a caps lock button to the left of the A button on your keyboard. If you're on your desktop, you need to press it now. Actually, you know what? I'll just hide them on my channel. More like an amputation than a liberation. Well, then, you know what, Irish Forever? Don't leave. Try everything you can to stay into your Catholicism. If you feel like something's being amputated from you. In fact, step one is click off this channel. Go watch a Catholic channel. If you're in that much pain, don't be here. Brittany.
Hi.
Hi there. And thank you for having your YouTube off, so there's no echo. Or do you have it
I
off?
didn't even know, so that's great.
Can I show your face?
Yes.
Okay. You've never called in before, have you?
No.
Okay. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I guess I just wanted to see what you would say. To give you a little bit of background, my husband and I kind of grew up in the Christian church, and just kind of the typical Arminian kind of belief. And then we started to see a lot of determinism in the Bible.
So you're now a Calvinist.
Yeah, well, right now, I guess I'm kind of an agnostic, but kind of theist-leaning agnostic.
Okay.
So we kind of walked away from the Christian faith altogether. And somehow I came across Sam Harris, and Sam Harris talks a lot about free will being not scientific. And for some reason that kind of made me think, well, I came to determinism through the Bible, and this is some neuroscientist who thinks that free will doesn't exist either. And so he doesn't believe in God because of that. So to me, I think what he's really kind of refuting is the typical view of God. But in my mind, I keep going back and forth. Sometimes I think, no, I'm just crazy. This isn't real. And then sometimes I think, what if there really is a God out there who is totally determining everything? We have no free will. And, what if he is really an evil God? Or what if he's a good God making people do evil? I feel like there's so many options. And I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see what you would think.
Well, let me ask you this. What does it matter if this God exists or not?
Well, I guess if there really is a deterministic God, then the Bible could be true. And if the Bible could be true, then there could be a hell, and that's a scary thought.
Well, hang on. How did you get from if there's a deterministic God, the Bible could be true, or you're just saying that it's possible?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any reason to think that it's probable? Because anything's possible in the magical kingdom, right? Like there could be anything out there that's
You mean
possible.
like are you asking, is it plausible from like within the Bible's perspective, or just
No, like
plausible?
In reality, like right now, what's your feeling? What's your gut feeling of how likely it is that the Bible's from a all-powerful or some type of deity?
Well, see, I'm confused about that too, because I usually in my gut, I feel like there is a God, but then I think, well, what if I just have that gut feeling because I was raised that way?
Okay, right, right. But right now, like say 100% you're certain that the Bible is from a God, the God, and 0 is no, there's no way. Where are you right now?
I feel like I'm right at 50-50. I could go either way, and I feel just completely torn in myself.
Okay, so you're at 50-50. How about for the Quran? Where are you at?
I haven't read too much of the Quran. I have read a little bit. So I guess I would have to look into it more. I don't know.
Because, well, all you need to know is the major thing. The Quran basically says it's the final revelation and Jesus is not God. There's only one God and his name is Allah. So they both can't be true. The Bible and the Quran both can't be correct on the major stuff. So
well, to me that would be, I could easily rule the Quran out if the Quran wasn't deterministic, because I see life as being like no one has any free will, really. Like we make choices, but our choices are determined on prior causes. And so I haven't seen that in the Quran, and I haven't heard about that.
So you're saying determinism makes you think it's more likely that there is a God and that the Bible could be from this God? That's weird. I've never heard that take before.
Wait, can you say that again?
What I'm hearing you say is that it's because of determinism. Am I low in volume for you? Let me check my.
No, I was thinking about something, so I didn't hear what you were saying.
It's amazing to me that you think because of determinism, it makes it more likely a God exists.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because of determinism, yeah.
And I'm trying to understand why you think that. Why does determinism make God more likely to exist?
The reason why is because I see God claiming that in the Bible. And so I think, well, why would God claim that? I mean, there are verses where he says, but people interpret these things differently. I just see it as...
Okay, so it's kind of cyclical for you. You think it's more likely God exists because of determinism, but determinism is in the Bible, and the Bible claims to be from God, so therefore it's more likely this God exists, and determinism is true. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. And what about the rest of the Bible? Like, do you think it's just likely to be true that a man walked on water and rose from the dead, that sort of thing?
Well, I feel like that kind of a question is more along the lines of, is there a God? Because if there is a God, then he could do all of those things. But, so I don't really see those questions.
Okay, if there's a God, he could do those things. But if there's a God, then there could be resurrections every day of the week, right?
Yeah, there could be.
But we don't see resurrections every day of the week. So why do we think that a man rose from the dead 2,000 years ago?
Well, see, this is the other thing that kind of scares me, I guess. And I think I just get a little paranoid. But to me, it seems like God doesn't actually, like in the Bible, it seems like God actually doesn't want some people to believe. So it would make sense that if he's real, he could actually hide himself. And there's a lot of scriptures that talks about him hiding himself and blinding people's eyes, or, and there is a verse where it says that people don't fear him because he's been silent for a long time. And obviously he could just be silent because he doesn't exist, but what if he is silent because he hates some people and he wants to condemn people, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. He could create some people for destruction. Are you 50-50 on hell and heaven?
Yeah, I never really had the typical, no, I used to, but I don't have the typical view of hell that I think most Christians have. I think if the Bible is true, it's not like an actual burning in hell and fire, but I guess I'm 50-50 on hell and heaven too.
And do you want to be more than 50-50, like either in either direction? Or are you happy?
I actually want to be a theist. I want to believe that there is a God, and for some reason determinism is like very intriguing to me, and I don't know. But I don't want to believe it. Just
you want to be a theist, but you don't want to believe it?
Well, I don't want to believe it just because I want to believe it, or just because it gives me some kind of a hope. Like, I don't want to have a false hope. If I have a hope, I want it to be real and genuine. And so I'm really not going to.
Okay. So you want a good reason to believe in theism.
Yeah. And
what would be a good reason for you?
I don't know. And I don't even know if it's even provable. And so, yeah, I don't know. I have talked to a lot of Christians though, and I like to question, because I grew up in the Christian community. I'm surrounded by Christian friends and family, and I like to ask them why they believe what they believe. And the ones that will engage with me, I'm always very disappointed, because I'm like, I'm looking for a reason to believe, and they're all like, well, it's just faith, you just have to believe. And then I get even more frustrated because I think, did I just grow up in some scam? But then again, I think if the Bible is true, I have a totally different view anyways. But it is frustrating. I do think that.
Well, hang on. Let's focus this. You do want to believe in theism. My goal here is to actually help you to believe in theism. I'm not going to dissuade you. But you said it's not provable. Like, do you want to believe in Islam?
I don't want to believe in anything that doesn't include determinism.
Islam, I think they're determinists too, but they'll
Oh,
say,
really?
yeah, they'll say that Allah has willed and decreed even the disbelief of people. So
So they would actually be okay with admitting that Allah created evil? Because I know
uh,
that some Calvinists say that God created evil in the sense that he allowed it. And that's not what I believe. I believe that he created it and like he actively created, if he exists, he actively creates evil.
okay, and you want to believe that?
Yeah, for some reason, I think that's very intriguing and cool, I guess, but like also sad at the same time. I don't know. I guess sometimes I think maybe I'm a psychopath for liking this stuff. I don't know.
Well, there's so many avenues to go down. You're a very interesting person. Like, I think determinism makes sense and explains a lot of things, but why do see God is this being that apparently is all loving, all merciful, all just. How does these concepts of loving and just make sense when God creates people for destruction?
Well, in my opinion, God could be loving, but just because he's loving, I think it's kind of what is it? Kind of a negative inference fallacy to say if he is love, he cannot be hate. So I think that yes, he could be love over here, but he also could be hate. And
So
maybe he
he's
wanted to
both.
create, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have children?
Yes.
So let's say the God of the Bible's true, exists, and hell is this place. Maybe it's not fire and gnashing of teeth, but it's still a very, very, very bad place to be, and you don't want to be there. And he predestined your children for hell. Would you still worship this God?
It's a hard thing to answer, but I think yes, because I really do find it valuable to not let my emotions control logic and beliefs.
So it just is what it is.
I can't hear you.
So it's just is what it is. Like if God created your children knowing,
I still can't hear you.
oh,
Yeah, for some reason I can't hear you.
try refreshing. Refresh.
Hold on.
How about now? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
So you want to believe a God exists, you want determinism to be true, and you're okay with your own kids being created for destruction.
I guess. I mean, it makes me sound like a really terrible person when you put it like that. But I feel like I do feel like if I guess I look at it from the perspective of if God wants to hate someone, he's going to create a person to hate. And so if that person is going to hell, that person is going to be hateable, I guess. He's going to make them that way, if that's true.
Would you have had kids if you knew for sure that they would have the most horrible, rotten, painful life and then die at 10 years old?
No, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have. I don't know the future, so I did have kids,
Right,
but
but if you did know the future, would you have those kids? I think you said no, right?
no.
Why do you think God
Yeah,
had
no, I
had
wouldn't.
those kids?
Well, I don't see God as when he creates someone, I don't see that as God's child just
Well,
because he
but why
created.
did God create?
I think it's possible that he created because he wanted to define himself. And there can be no, I don't know, definition, I guess, without a contrast.
So he needed to create?
I don't think he needed to, but that's something I haven't really thought too much in depth about.
Yeah, you need to think about that one, because it will, I think, destroy your concept of God. If
Yeah.
God needs to demonstrate his love, if God needs to demonstrate his justice, if God needs to do all these things in order to define who he is, then this God's not all powerful. He's kind of weak. He's not feeling sufficient within himself. He's needy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did need to. I don't know. But yeah, I'll think about that.
Yeah. And I still don't understand, like, you believe the Bible is 50-50 God's word. Is that right? And it's based on possibility?
No, I don't know. See, the thing is I do think that, where the Bible talks about determinism, that could be true about God, and because God claims to be in the Bible, I think he claims to be a deterministic God. I think the Bible could be true and it could not. And I don't know what parts of it would be or what parts wouldn't be. That's all stuff I'm confused on too, I guess.
How long have you thought this way? How many years or months?
So I think I first started thinking along these lines in 2016.
And is it because you stumbled upon like John Piper or something?
No. So I was actually sitting in my room, opening the Bible because I thought I needed to read the Bible and be a good Christian. And so I just was kind of doing it because I thought I should. And I happened to read Romans 9. And all of a sudden I was thinking, it seemed like Paul the Apostle was like anticipating my thoughts, because everything I would think he would say, and then you will say to me, and it was like exactly what I was thinking. And it really freaked me out. And then I was kind of in turmoil over it. I don't think I even talked to anyone about it for about a week. And then I all of a sudden ran into my now husband at a church, and we started dating, and he was a Calvinist. And then I was like, oh, this is making so
say
much
no
more
more.
sense.
Say no more. You met your husband around 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the PineCreek theorem. Within
It is. Yeah, I've heard this before.
Yeah. So,
but I did.
Your
Also,
husband's the problem.
Well, I did convince my husband that the Trinity wasn't true, so I kind of led him out.
Oh, you're a Unitarian?
No, I wouldn't even say that I'm a Unitarian. I think that Jesus just is God in the flesh. Like, I think God being omnipresent could appear.
Oh, you're a modalist. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I do differ from modalism a little bit. I don't exactly know what they believe. I honestly don't really look into mainstream beliefs too much. I just kind of read it.
But you view Jesus basically like a burning bush. Like God revealed himself in a burning bush to Moses in the Old Testament, and revealed himself as a man named Jesus in the New Testament.
Yeah, but I don't think that because I think modalism says that, oh, if he's Jesus, he's not this. And then when he was a burning bush, now he's not Jesus. I think he just like can appear whatever he wants. Whenever he wants, he could appear as three people at the same time while only being one person. He's just omnipresent, so he could appear in multiple places and be whatever he wants.
Does your husband, is he 50-50 on all this stuff?
I would say he's a little bit more atheist leaning. So he's agnostic too, but he's more atheist leaning. And we were just having a discussion today about it, and we were kind of, yeah, that's the what I'm getting from him is that he's more atheist leaning, I'm more theist leaning. And so I just decided to call in and see what you'd say.
Well, you're kind of messed up.
Maybe so.
I don't know if I even want to help you or what to help you with, because, well, ask me a very specific question and maybe I can help you that way.
I I don't even know what specific question to ask you, I guess, because like I said, I don't even know what would prove to me that God is real.
I can
I don't
help.
know
Oh
for
yeah, I
you.
can give you some advice on that. Do you know anybody who's died in the last few years that you know personally?
No.
Oh, no grandma, grandpa, or oh, it just doesn't
No,
matter. But
yeah.
this would convince me, and it probably would convince you and your husband. We go to a cemetery, someone prays in the name of Jesus, and within seconds, their body bubbles up through the soil and they resurrect. I'll drop naturalism if that happens.
Yeah,
I'm not lying.
I guess that like in the typical Christian view or whatever, but I guess I think that God is a little more secretive, I guess, and he reveals himself when he
Okay, if God's secretive and it won't do stuff like that, that's demonstrable. Like, why do you want to
Well,
believe
here's
in a
the thing
secretive
though, is
God?
that's the thing though, is like I don't necessarily think just because something doesn't sound good that it's not real. You know, like cancer sucks, but it's real. What if God sucks, but he's real, you know?
Okay, if God sucks, but he's real, so what? God sucks, move on with your life.
Well, I guess it's just for me it's different because I'm just very fascinated with that view of God.
You need to let God
I,
go.
I don't know why. I just am.
You need to let God go. Because if you're okay with the secretive, like the hidden God theory idea, that he actually doesn't do anything and he's just this concept, really.
Well, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying he might not when you want him to, or he might not in your lifetime, but I'm not saying he never did.
Okay, in your lifetime, have you ever experienced anything that you think God did?
No.
Well, there you go. I mean, why believe in. You're basically just believing in a concept.
Hmm.
So, in fact, I'm glad you called in because you fit the title of this live stream. Is your God dead? No, it is alive and well in your mind. You like the idea of determinism. You like that this God is a deterministic God, and you like this concept. But that's all it is. It's just in your head. So, really, it doesn't
Right.
matter if you believe in this God or not. Right?
Yeah, I guess not.
Just live your life. And
All right.
tell your husband to be an atheist already. And then the PineCreek theorem will make you one.
All right. Well, my kids are about to wake up from their naps, so but I appreciate
How old are
your
your kids?
input. So I have five. I have a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Whoa, whoa. So how many? 4?
Five.
5.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that your husband was a Calvinist. Yep. Be fruitful and multiply.
Yes.
um,
Yeah, we're done though. We're done.
and remember, if you do become atheists, that doesn't mean you have to go crazy and become like left wing, woke, crazy people. I
No,
hope you
yeah,
understand
no,
that.
I really like that you are an atheist, but you have more conservative views.
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate
Because a lot of people, they leave religion, then they go crazy, replacing it with other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Okay, well, thanks for your time.
Okay, see you, Brittany.
Bye.
That was interesting. I really didn't know where to go. I didn't really know what to ask. That was the first. I like determinism. The Bible teaches determinism. Therefore, I want to believe in the God of the Bible. Like the non-determinists out there who are Christian, this should fascinate you too. That people like Brittany exist. They should. You non-Calvinists, you gotta listen to people like Brittany and say, well, what's going on here? the God of Calvinism is evil, according to a lot of Christians. And here's this person who actually desires that. Interesting. She just wanted that unfalsifiable concept of God didn't exist. You're missing a word in there. I don't see why this would be difficult for you. Eats eating is wants in, and I'm going to predict what he's going to say. He's going to say that God, the Allah, is not deterministic. No. Well, we'll see. It's the insidious poison of Calvinism. I'm a Pentecostal. You gotta admit you can find Calvinism in the Bible. Eats eating. You're not working. I'm gonna let Babis in.
Hello.
Hey Babis, are you the guy who's in my comment section sometimes?
Yes.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I'm great.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, where is the predestination in the Bible?
Well, you can go into the Psalms where it talks about God knew you while you're in the womb.
Yes, because the parents chose to make a baby, so he made you in the womb before you were born, spiritually.
So are you saying predestination is not in the Bible?
Yes.
Ephesians 1:4-6.
And there are verses that prove otherwise, that there is not predestination in the Bible. For example, when Cain killed Abel and God said, "What have you done?" Because God did not say to Cain to do that, but we have a choice.
Ephesians 1:4-6. In love, he predestined us for adoption to himself as sons through Jesus Christ. What do you think that means?
Let me find the verse because I didn't hear it.
Ephesians 1.
What?
Ephesians 1:4-6.
1:46.
Chapter 1, verse 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, okay. The one that says, "For he chose us in him."
Yeah. He chose us. We didn't choose him.
Yes.
Yeah.
What that means is that he God has free will too, so he chose for us to be the purpose before creation, to be holy and blameless in his sight. It talks about humanity.
Doesn't that sound like predestination and determinism to you?
No, because it talks about the general goal that he has for humanity. So,
well, let me ask you a very simple question. When someone becomes a believer,
yes.
A Christian, do they choose God or does God choose them?
Actually, God has already chosen us. So it's actually, we accept God. And sometimes God chooses to reveal himself to us.
So you just said God chose the believer.
God has chosen all the humanity to be saved from the beginning, chosen. So he has decided, he has as a goal for everybody to be saved. So actually, let me explain a concept, if you're okay with it. The concept of chosen. So when you're chosen, when the Bible says that in the end the chosen will be saved, actually you choose the side you will be in, because you become chosen when you become a Christian. Actually, Christ means chosen, and he has another meaning, but I don't remember it now. You're basically the chosen ones.
You're basically going to say that it's both.
No. Christian means the one who follows Christ, but it actually means the chosen one. So actually, chosen means that you will be chosen in the end to be saved by God.
Before the foundations of the earth, God chose people to be his children. True or false?
Correct.
Okay. That's
Not
that's what Brittany was saying.
Not people.
That's what the previous
Not
caller
people.
Brittany was saying.
Not people personally. Humanity as a whole.
In John 15:16, it says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you, so that you may go bear fruit."
John
chapter 15. Do you think he's talking about everybody on the planet?
Let me find the verse. Which verse it is?
16.
16, okay. Where's you? Appointed you. Let me see who is talking. Let me find. Okay, Jesus is talking. No, wait a minute. Who is talking? Let me find that.
And even the whole history of the Jews was started by God loving Jacob and hating Esau. That was a choice God made.
This language means that love someone more and become more bad in the sight of God. So actually, because of their actions, it's not because. But let me.
But you know
read
what?
this one.
But you know what, Babis? I really don't care enough about this to debate it with you.
Okay.
You can believe whatever you want, but I'm just explaining to you why people, Christians,
I get it.
Yeah,
yes.
Why they see determinism and predestination in the Bible? Because it's there.
Because actually they follow sects. It's not the real Christianity.
Say that again?
They follow sects. It's not the real Christianity.
Okay, so you're saying that those views are not real Christianity?
No, I'm saying that some parts of their beliefs are messed up.
Yeah, and yours are all correct.
I'm not saying that. Maybe I have some things that are wrong that I don't know about yet. I'm always trying to learn more things, and I actually have changed my view many times in the past.
Okay, but do you understand?
Actually,
can you admit to me that you can understand why some Christians are Calvinists, why some Christians are determinists? Can you at least understand?
Of course, I understand
their reasoning.
Yes, I understand the reasoning, and when I meet someone that has a belief, I try to show them that this is not true.
Okay, so you disagree with them, I understand, but that's all.
I try to understand them, yes.
Yeah, so that's all I'm trying to say here is, like, when the very first thing you came on to say was basically to push back against people like Brittany who sees determinism in the Bible, and you're saying, well, that's not true. But I'm just here to tell you that, well, they have justification. They have reasons to think this, and I gave you a few. Like even okay. Judas was appointed to betray Jesus.
Yes, but even Satan knows the scripture. He knows how to pervert them, as we saw with the story of Jesus in the desert. So actually, there are ways to pervert the scriptures, and there is a correct and incorrect explanation.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
That's what I'm trying to say.
This is boring to me.
Okay.
Why are you a Christian, Babis?
There are many factors, actually.
What's the first one that pops in your head? The main reason is...
The main reason is...
Don't think about it too hard. Don't try to figure out which one. What is it?
I'm between the logic and experiences. It's both for me.
Ah, that's a good answer. What's the logic part?
Yes, actually, if I had only experiences and everything about logic goes against it, actually, it would be pretty hard for me.
Okay, be more specific with the logic part.
So, ever since I was a teen, I tried to learn more about apologetics, and I tried to answer many things and find the answers for other things. And actually was an agnostic at one point of my life. And what happened is I would find answers and I would have also experiences. So without having some experiences, so it was actually
Okay,
both.
try again, Babis. What you said? A reason
You
you're a
want a
Christian?
specific reason?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So one general one is that I would find logic in the system of the Christian worldview. But once, so what I mean is that I would have a question about Christianity and I would find the answer for it. So this is not
I'm still
what you
I'm
asked,
still
but I'm
looking
telling you,
for something specific.
yes. I know. But I'm telling you that I found some things. I found the answer to my questions for an explanation of the Bible, if you will.
Like,
So one reason, for example, the simplest one. For in the beginning, I want to find the why God allows evil, why there are diseases in the world, and all these other questions. So reasons to believe in God, I would say, are
it's hard to question and answer, isn't it, for you?
yes. For example, it's the history, archaeology. You want a specific?
Yeah.
Okay. So the resurrection.
Okay.
Historical.
The resurrection. Be more specific. What about the resurrection makes you believe Christianity is true?
For example, yes. It's the resurrection of Christ caused so many people to believe in him even more and spread and create churches and spread him all around the world.
Okay,
So
let's stop
with
there.
Early Christians,
Yeah.
and we have the oral traditions from back then.
Yeah. Okay.
Which were the sources of the Gospels.
So when I asked for something specific that's not emotional but more rationale, you said the resurrection of Jesus because it caused so many people to change and churches started.
No, I'm talking about the disciples.
Disciples changed and started the church.
And it proved who he is, and he proved who he is.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great reason to me.
Yes. So one other reason with archaeology is...
Why do you think some people doubt that reason?
Yes, okay, so... actually, it begins with scholars who try to put aside everything spiritual. So they try to, whatever they can, to find an explanation that can be explained with natural.
What would explain the resurrection account with the disciples if, let's say, it's not true? What would be another explanation?
I actually watch a lot of videos of atheists who try to approach this historical issue. And
you're making me sad, Babis.
Yes, actually, can't think of anything good. Can you help?
You can't think of anything.
No.
You haven't even begun to know why you believe what you believe if you can't think of anything.
So okay, let me explain. For example,
you're a baby Christian suckling on your the teat of Jesus.
For example, they took the baby. Yes. For example, they took the body out of the tomb. For example, or the New Testament
you're saying one explanation against what you said is the body was stolen. Okay, how did you, Babis, decide upon what was the process in your head to say, okay, that could have happened, right? Let's say Jesus was put in a tomb and then the tomb was empty.
Okay.
And you got two explanations for the data. One is the body was stolen. The other explanation is he resurrected and walked out or went through the rock, whatever.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Which one is more likely to you?
For me, it's that he resurrected. because otherwise the disciples wouldn't have believed in him, and he would have been one of many false
Okay, Babis,
Messiah people who wanted to make money.
let's take it off Jesus, and I'm going to show you something here.
Yes.
And there's going to be I'm purposely going to cause cognitive dissonance in your brain. So,
Okay.
Do you know of anybody who's died in the past few
Yes.
years? Okay, think of that person.
Yes.
And let's say there's a burial, the person goes in the grave, and then I tell you that the body is gone 3 days later. And I'm going to propose two explanations of what happened. One is whoever you're thinking about right now who died and was buried,
Yes.
that they actually resurrected from the dead and they're walking around somewhere, but we haven't found them yet. Or two, the body was dug up by other people and taken. Which is more likely between
Yes.
those two?
It has to do with how the person died, the clinical condition,
Babis,
what
please,
he suffered.
please don't make me sad. I asked you a very specific question. Which is more likely between those two scenarios? Not Jesus. We're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about
Okay.
we're talking about this person who you know has died, was buried, but then we find out 3 days later that the tomb is empty, the burial place is empty.
Okay, so actually, when you can't see that person anymore, and you can't find him anywhere, you say that the body was stolen, of course.
So you would admit that it's more likely that someone took the body rather than in the resurrection.
If that dead person was not seen anywhere.
No, right now we're on day 3. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. All we do
So
is we go to the
actually,
graveside and we see it's empty. What's more likely?
Yes.
The body was
So-
stolen, taken, or that it was resurrected? And you said stolen, right?
Yes, it's actually yes. Okay, let's say
Okay, why can't
What
you
would
say
be
that when
more
I...
possible?
Now, given the same situation, why
Yes.
can't you say that with Jesus?
because that's what you say is actually what the disciples, not that it was stolen, but they never thought that he could be resurrected. So actually, I can say that because it has changed so many people. For example, James, the brother of Jesus, who was a
Okay,
historical
good.
person.
Okay.
He changed his opinion.
He was seen by other people later. Okay, that's a
Yes,
good
yes.
answer. Now let's bring it back
And they
to this.
created the church.
Let's bring us back to this person in your head who died, and I tell you that this person was written about decades later to have been seen by people. So imagine it's someone who died, I don't know, 50 years ago for you. The body was gone, but we now have diaries, 4 diaries that are not signed or dated, but it just says that this person, not Jesus, was seen around. Now I'm going to ask you another question. What's more likely, that these stories are true and this person was seen, or these stories are made up and this person wasn't seen?
So actually, you have to suppose that the Gospels talk about Jesus appearing years later, because in that case, they could be forgeries. But Jesus didn't appear years later.
I'm going to ask the question again. What is more likely to you?
days later.
I'm not talking about Jesus. What is more
Okay,
likely
okay,
to
okay.
you, that this person who was dead was seen by others, that was made up, or it actually happened?
Okay. Since you said that it would be years later, I would say it's made up.
Man, you're on your way out of Christianity.
Why? Because you said it would be years later.
You've admitted to me it's more likely that body was stolen. You've admitted to me that even historical accounts written later are more likely to be made up.
No, because what you said is that the dead human would be seen years later. But the Gospels describe accounts of people seeing him days later.
Okay, but I'm saying we have accounts that are written years later saying that people saw this person, not Jesus, days later. What's more
Yes,
likely,
but
that it's
they
made
didn't
up
see him.
or that it's real?
It's real because it's so close to the events.
What's so
And
close to the event?
Not the Gospels. The Gospels were not the only source. Actually, they have the oral traditions. They have the creeds.
Hang on, we're playing whack-a-mole here. Let's stay focused. If I'm not talking about Jesus, but if I told you that an hour ago 1 hour ago, I saw a person walk on my pool in the backyard. Do you believe that a person literally walked on water in my backyard pool? It was an hour ago, so close to the event.
Yes. So I would say no, because there needs to be more witnesses. And
How many more
actually, he could have done it with the trick. He could have done it with the trick.
No. I'm saying there's no tricks. He literally walked on my
Okay.
on my water. There's no tricks. And by the way,
Yes, that's why.
By the
Yes,
way,
that's why we
there
need
was
a supernatural confirmation.
by the way, there was 500 people who saw it too. But I can't give you specific names of these 500 to verify. And wouldn't you know it, they're all dead now. Would you believe it?
It depends on how many eyewitnesses were, and because you need to study the sources and the oral traditions from the earliest.
Mm-hmm. Are there eyewitnesses in the Bible of Jesus' resurrection?
No, actually, there's a collection of written collection of those sources.
Did you just answer
so
no?
Actually, the sources. So actually, the sources go earlier.
Hang on. I asked you, are there eyewitnesses to Jesus' resurrection in the Bible? And you said no.
Yes, because it's a collection of those experiences.
So when you mentioned that there was eyewitnesses of Jesus'
actually,
resurrection,
yes, there are, but there are, but they're not the authors. That's what I'm trying to say.
okay,
They are in the story. They are persons in the story. Yes.
What's an eyewitness account?
For example, when
No,
Jesus appeared
forget about
to
Jesus. Just
Okay.
define an eyewitness account. An eyewitness account is fill in the blank.
An eyewitness account is someone who was. Okay. Yes, I get what you mean. You mean someone who was in the tomb to saw the resurrection.
Let me help you. An eyewitness account, you tell me if you agree. An eyewitness account is an account, a writing, or a testimony of someone who says what they personally saw. Agree
Yes.
or disagree?
Yes, agree.
Okay. Do we have that in the New Testament?
Yes, I would say we have testimonies and
Tell me.
writings that were.
Who?
So, testimonies, for example, you mean people explaining it?
Give me a name of someone who said, this is what I saw.
For example, okay, you mean from the time of resurrection?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so Mary Magdalene, who saw the tomb that was empty and said that she became afraid, for example.
Okay, did she write that?
No.
So it's not
because
it's not her account then, right? You just agreed with agreed with my definition of eyewitness account. And by definition, this is not an eyewitness account.
These are, but they are not the authors. They are a collection of eyewitness accounts.
Can you have an eyewitness account of someone else saying what someone else saw?
No, you can have a collection of those things.
Can you have an eyewitness account if the person is not the person saying what they saw, but someone else saying what they saw? So if in other words, if I say Babis saw a car accident yesterday, is this Babis's eyewitness account if I say it?
No, it isn't, but doesn't mean that it isn't true.
You're right. Doesn't mean it's not true, but it does mean it's not an eyewitness account of Babis.
Correct.
So I'm asking you, is there an eyewitness account in the New Testament of Jesus' resurrection?
In the New Testament, yes, but they're not the authors. The eyewitnesses.
How can it be yes when they didn't write it?
Actually, Matthew was one that wrote. Yes, Matthew.
Matthew?
Yes, for example.
So does Matthew say his name in the book of Matthew?
And we know them from tradition. because
tradition.
actually we know the names from when many people started to create false books and
So we
sects.
know Matthew
So
wrote Matthew because about a century later, some other people said that he wrote Matthew. Got it.
no, because from the time there was a need to know the earlier names to have a collection of the canon, and actually there are some early church fathers who mentioned knowing the earliest apostles who knew the writers,
But right now,
the authors.
I think I got you to admit that there's no eyewitness accounts in the New Testament. Is that true?
Yes, there is. There are, but they are not. The eyewitnesses are not the authors.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, Babis,
Yeah, I would say Matthew was. And
when I hear
maybe
you talk
John,
like
why not?
this, Babis, when I hear you talk like this, I just, in my mind, I'm thinking you're contradicting yourself. You agreed with my definition of eyewitness account, which means that the person writes themselves. And then you say, yes, there's eyewitness accounts, but they didn't write it.
Okay. You mean the person writes it. So if that's your definition that you use, yes, you are right.
Okay, thank you.
But if a person collects the testimonies of many people, it doesn't mean that those testimonies are not true.
Yeah, and
Because that's history.
it doesn't mean that my great ancestor flew across the Grand Canyon unaided. That's not true either. Like,
Yes.
Babis, I've been doing this for, I don't know, a decade now, having these same conversations over and over again with believers like you. And I don't know how many times I've had this conversation, this exact conversation. And it always ends the same. It always goes with, well, okay, technically you're right, Doug, there's no eyewitness accounts. By the way, Paul is actually your best answer for eyewitness accounts because he actually identifies himself. I, Paul, a servant of the Lord. He says who he is. He puts his reputation on the line and says, I saw Jesus appear to me. The whole Damascus,
Yes, but it was not at the time of the resurrection.
the whole Damascus Road experience, Paul never said that. That's someone else saying that. And you're right. Paul saw Jesus on the second coming because he already went up to heaven by the time Paul saw him. He had to come back down from heaven. But in any other major big claim, like a resurrection or someone flying unaided, I really don't think you'd believe it based on the same evidence. But for some reason you believe it because it's in the Bible. And I'm not sure why.
And we also have the Shroud of Turin.
The what?
And we also have the Shroud of Turin.
I didn't understand the word you just said.
And we also have the Shroud of Turin.
Oh, the Shroud of Turin.
Yes. Did you forget about this?
I'm gonna cry.
Actually, there were so many people that became Christians and they started.
And people wonder why I want to talk about politics.
Okay. So, what would be the best explanation for you that so many people became Christians and
Because they believed it.
created the first churches? They believed it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's true, right?
So,
Right?
12 apostles, and so 12 apostles.
If a whole bunch of people
and
believe
so many-
something, hang on, Babis. I just conceded to you just a few minutes ago that something can be, just because we don't have evidence for it or whatever, doesn't mean it's not true. If a bunch of people believe something, that doesn't make it true, correct?
Correct.
Thank
It
you.
depends on if there are eyewitnesses who believe it.
There can be eyewitnesses who believe it and it still not be true, correct?
I wouldn't say so.
Whoa. You don't think 3, 4, 5 people can be all deceived? Or mistaken?
No.
No.
No, because if Jesus let them touch him and he spoke to them. So actually, it's like saying we're in the Matrix if you can trust, if many people can trust the senses.
Okay. I'll tell you my take on all this. And I know,
Okay.
You're going to disagree with it. So just to warn you. But I think that much of the New Testament is made up. I mean, purely made up fiction. And I don't say that lightly.
I'm sure you believe it.
Yeah. And I think that what happened, that there was this guy named Jesus. He had a following. He died. He was thrown in a pit and he was eaten by birds and dogs and whatever. And that's that. And then decades later, this belief started forming. Well, there was a belief right away that he was special, that he was God, he was divine, and that he was going to change the world. And that I think there began very early this belief that he was still around, but not around as a physical man walking around, but around spiritually. Like Jesus appeared to me in a dream or a vision, just like people have these dreams and visions today. And then over time, a story developed. They historized. They made Jesus, this still existing idea, more tangible by putting him on earth for 40 days. By the way, 40 is a very special number, right, in the Bible. The Israelites, they wandered in the desert for 40 days. This is your cue. This is your hint that this is a made-up story. Jesus being around for 40 days is a representation of the Jewish people being around in the desert for 40 days. There's many similarities between Jesus and Moses, Elijah, Elisha. So what people did, what very clever Jews and clever Gentiles did in the New Testament, is use the Old Testament as a template to create this historicized Jesus who walked around. So when I hear a person like you say, well, but Thomas put his fingers in the holes of Jesus, I mean, I shake my head. No, this is a made-up story. It never happened.
So let me say something. The first letter of the New Testament historically is, I think, Thessalonians, which actually shows that there is a network of believers already, and the questions that they have, they give an answer as this is a letter. So the first letter of the New Testament has high Christology, so it's not like a story develops over time.
You're right. I agree with when it comes to Jesus's divinity. Paul has the highest, and then Mark goes down. Matthew is about level. Luke goes up a bit, and then John goes back up to where Paul was. But on things like descriptions of the tomb, descriptions of who was at the tomb, that definitely develops from one gospel to another. By the end in John, the tomb is like in a garden, and it's beautiful, and we got Mary herself going to the tomb and seeing Jesus and then not recognizing him. But in Mark, guess what? We don't even have resurrection appearances. Did you know that?
It's like the Gospel of Mark is not finished. It's not complete.
Yeah, well, but the fact remains, what I just said is true. There's no resurrection appearances in the book of Mark, and then they come in Matthew, Luke, and John.
Yes, because they're in the letters, the earliest letters of Paul. The Gospel of Mark is like it's not finished, and right again with the Gospel of Matthew, we see that the resurrection is there, and in the Gospel of Mark, we see that Jesus prophesied it for himself. That in 3 days he will rebuild the temple, and he was talking about his body.
Yeah, it's easy.
I wouldn't say
it's easy to pen in those things later.
I wouldn't say. I forgot what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I'll just let you know that for a guy like me, like I'm pretty much dead inside. I don't need Jesus. I don't care for eternal life. I don't need explanation of how we got here. I'm not needy. I don't need Jesus to pay my electric bill. So the only way you're going to convince a guy like me is, we can do it right now.
No, not again.
1 Kings 18. No, Elijah tells the other people to pray to their gods.
You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that.
Elijah,
you can do something better. You can do something better.
He put water on wood, and he called upon Yahweh to light it up on fire. And I'm calling upon you, Babis, to heal me of my spiritual deadness. and make me a believer through the power of Jesus. Pray in the name of Jesus to light
There is
this
a
on
better way.
fire.
There is a better way.
What's the
There is a
better
better
way?
way. I have told you again the previous time. Actually, you have said to me the previous time that you have said the sinner's prayer like 100 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't mean it. And if you don't seek God with honesty and with all your heart and with all your might, you will never find Him. Because it's like you think that God does not know that you're joking.
I hate it when atheists
When
don't.
you're
Babis, you're talking
yes,
about, okay, I'm not sincere. That's up for, like, I disagree with you, but I don't care to
just be
do.
honest
I am being honest.
to God.
I'm
Honest to God that you want to find Him.
You know what? Seek and you shall find is the most powerful verse in the Bible. I
Yes.
believe that that's true. But guess what?
How?
People can seek and find Allah. People can seek and find Vishnu. People can seek
Allah is
and
a demon.
find the God in Mormonism, which is different than the God in Christianity. So, I mean, you can seek and find whatever you want to find. You can imagine something so strongly enough that you think it's real and you believe it. But to me, this is better. We got 247 people watching. All you have to do, Babis, is pray in the name of Jesus. It says in the Gospel of John that you will do greater things than Jesus did if you're a true believer. Why not?
Yes, but I'm not clean enough.
You're not what?
I'm not clean enough.
You're not clean enough.
Spiritually. Yes.
Doesn't the scripture say that God
things.
chooses the weak to shame the strong? God chose David to
Yes.
fight the Goliath. He didn't choose a big guy. So
But
God chose
the Holy
Moses,
Spirit- the Holy Spirit-
who couldn't even public speak. Aaron had to do the speaking for him. So if you're unclean, you are in a great position to do a miracle for God, because who would expect it? Babis, the unclean man, doing a great miracle for Jesus today.
Okay. God has a plan for everyone, and the Holy Spirit didn't tell me to come here to do a magic trick. Okay? That's what I'm trying
Why
to
do
say.
you call it magic?
And I'm not clean enough.
If Jesus does a miracle, you call that magic?
No.
No, I'm asking you
But-
to heal me.
Yes.
I'm asking you to not to do a magic trick. I'm asking you humbly to heal me of my spiritual deadness. Will you do that for me today?
It's like I'm not clean enough, I will not even try. But you said that
God is frowning at you right now. He's not saying, Babis, well done, good and faithful servant. He's saying, get away from me.
No.
Here you have a creation begging you to heal him of his spiritual deadness, and you're saying no.
Okay, listen. It's like you try to put God in a box. So what I will do is I will pray for you to receive a sign in the way that God wants. Is that okay for you?
Sure. But this is
Okay.
but the thing is, if the sign is I don't know. I have
a sign that you personally will be able to understand. You to understand.
Okay. Well, here's
Actually,
one.
if God appears in a dream, and tells me to come light the wet tissue on fire, that's His will. Okay. I will pray that he in His will He will give you a sign that you will understand it.
You go take a nap and have a dream and come back when God tells you.
Okay.
Thanks for
I will
calling.
still pray for you. You said yes.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for the donation, Anthony H. Feels like the good old days. But you guys have to understand, like, I've had this conversation. People have watched my channel for a while. I've had this exact same conversation. How many times? I'm not really enjoying it anymore. You know there's nothing that's going to change Babis's mind. He's locked in. He's needy. As long as he remains needy, he's going to continue to believe. You have to become dead inside. Sean, what are you doing here?
Look, it's fucking politics Jesus, Doug. I literally was just listening to you say, and I was thinking the exact same thing. You're like, man, you wonder why I like to talk politics. I even commented in the chat, this is just so tired. Like, how many times do we have to listen to you have that stupid conversation with somebody that's just not going to budge one bit?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If people pay me enough, I'll do it. If you're good at something, don't do it. I mean, don't do it for free, as the Joker said.
You know, isn't that what like the I used to watch T-Jump a little bit, and wasn't that what he started doing, was charging like $50 to have a conversation with basically anybody?
Maybe I need to do that too. Although I would need more than $50. Like when I loved doing it, then I did it for me. But if I'm going to force myself to have the same conversation over and over again, I need to be paid.
Don't you feel like you're starting to get this? And I'm by no way want to have the trans conversation with you, but don't you feel like with the politics, at least, you seem to be having that same conversation over and over? Does that start to weigh in on it? It's like when I talk politics with my mother at some point.
I'm sure that will happen with politics too. But the difference with politics is it's like wars start out of, Palestine and Israel. We got something to talk about. With the Bible, it's like it's in canon. It's done. There's nothing new.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep having that same conversation. For me, it's not necessarily the conversation that's so frustrating or that gets tiresome as much as it is, you can prove that particular point all day long. These aren't eyewitnesses, but stories of eyewitnesses. And it doesn't change. They literally blink of an eye. They switch from it's the most important thing to have an eyewitness to, oh, but that's okay because it's true, right? Like they're so easily able to overcome pretty much anything. Like have you ever, when was the last time you had a conversation and that really bogged them down? They really stopped to think about, oh, I've never, like, I'm finding out for the first time ever that these aren't eyewitnesses in the Bible.
I think that has happened once or twice, but usually it happens. I think it will happen when they get off the stream and they're thinking about it in the days after we talk, and it happens for people watching.
Or they come to you a year later and they're like, hey man, all those conversations we used to have about my faith, that just bolstered. I've had that conversation with so many of my friends. They've come and thanked me. Like for now their faith is so much stronger and it's so much deeper. And I'm like, literally, like we've talked about where you were just wrong about what was going on in this book. And that but somehow made you stronger in your faith.
What kind of house? Is that your house you're in?
Yeah.
Let me see your windows. How high do they go?
30, 25.
Wow. Is that cedar?
No, it's just it's cabin. It's old pine.
Why aren't you a Republican living in a nice house like that?
Man.
Oh, I know why. It's because you live in such a nice cabin. You feel guilty about all the people who can't afford it, and so that's why you're a Democrat. Got it.
So I wouldn't call myself a Democrat. I think the last time we talked, you clipped it, and you labeled me a self-proclaimed progressive socialist.
Did I? Oh, and you're not?
No, I don't. You could probably talk me into one of those corners and label me that, but I'm not. I wouldn't necessarily call myself.
You probably got a ton of really nice shoes in your closet too.
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, you
I
look
mean, I don't
you look
have-
far too wealthy to be a Democrat.
Yeah. You can tell that by some windows.
Yeah.
I would put money that our house cost a tenth of what yours does, if a tenth.
No.
Yep.
Well, where do you live?
Georgia.
Oh yeah, okay, that's hillbilly land.
And we live in hillbilly land. We bought it right before COVID got really insane. Our house doubled in value during COVID, which isn't to say much. I mean, it's still probably, I would say, a fraction of what's yours. Come on, 1.2, 1.5, 2.
Mine?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I live in Arizona, not California.
All right.
But you still want me to go back to Canada?
Only when I listen to you talk politics, Doug. I'm
Yeah.
like, just send him back. We've got enough of you. You're literally like cookie cuttered where I live.
Would you say that if I was Hispanic?
Every other neighbor that I had. No, I'd much prefer you be Hispanic. You know that.
If I was Hispanic but had this exact same political views, would you tell me to go back where I came from?
It's funny that you say that because I worked for a guy that owned a running store that was Hispanic and illegal, and he loved Trump. And every time we'd have that conversation, I used to say, he wants to deport you. And he was like, no, he loves me.
No, but would you say to this guy, please go back to where you came from?
I think I did in a few of our conversations when he got on board with Trump.
Okay, well then I respect that. If you can look at an oppressed minority in the face and say, go back to where you came from, then you're consistent.
So Doug, this is a point though that I think we don't get to talk about too much, because the general misconception is that all of the people coming across the borders, or the majority of them, are the ones that do contribute, only make a small amount of money. But there are a lot of people coming across at least the Hispanics or the Latinos, or in my experience, people that own businesses, people that have jobs that are paying close to six figures. I worked with a bunch of tree workers that are making $225 a year. I mean, the guys that climb trees, they make $225 a year.
And they deserve it too.
That's out in California, but they're illegal. I mean, look, they could blow through every tree company in California, and you'd literally deport, I'd say 60% of them.
But where people are going to get mad at me because we're talking like this. It's Theist Thursday.
But you don't do Politics Tuesday or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's because I've been busy working. But
so you make time for Thursday, but not Politics Tuesday.
It just actually happened that today I just finished a project last night, so I had actually some time today. So.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I'll keep an eye out. The next time you have an open room or you have a
maybe tomorrow.
Room, Sarah just went back to a job at the anyway. Our life's been turned around a little bit, so Fridays we actually have the day off, or half the day off together. But if she's not home when you start, I might try and jump on. But otherwise, we've been fortunate enough. She was working remote and then went back to work for.
But next time when you call in, don't call in from that beautiful cabin, because then the Democrats are going to, your own friends are going to desert you.
Doug, literally, here's your idea.
You know how many immigrants from Africa you could feed with that cabin?
So you see that floor, Doug?
Oh, there we go. That's the Georgia I know.
That's 40-year-old subfloor.
Oh,
see, it's vintage.
That's right. We call it vintage.
Flip your house upside down and walk on your ceiling.
We ripped it. She actually ripped it up a couple years ago, and they cut lines in it to make it look like hardwoods, just until we can afford to put the floors down. But now, I mean, there was 2 years where.
Oh, don't make it sound like you're poor now. Come on.
Oh, just because
the gig is up, Sean.
You want me to be in a different category than I am.
We all know you're a 1 percentile now. And you're just playing this guilt role of feeling sorry for the poor people when really you just don't want them to steal from you.
You know why, man? You know why I empathize more is because I think I've been on I've been on that side of the coin for most of my life, right? Like, I mean, we've always been food on the table, clothes on our back, but where working in kitchens, I've worked with people, and I come from a very conservative minded family 30 years ago, where when I was 16, 17, it was time to get a job and go do what, you're going to do. Like, if you go to college, we'll try and help you pay for it, but we're not going to pay for it all. But once you're 18, you're on your own. So go make your world, whatever that means. And I worked in kitchens most of my life. And,
Can you come down to my place and tell my daughter that so she can leave?
Well, I mean, your daughter's probably been given. What's your daughter drive, Doug?
No, nothing. I don't give my kids no. I don't pay for my
cars.
kids. I don't pay for my kids' college education. I told them that already. My son's a senior, and I have not given my kids cars. But I still allow my 20-year-old daughter to live at home because it's just so expensive to live anywhere else. But
yeah, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, you're not going to pay for their car. You're not going to pay for this. You're not
I'll
gonna
pay for their
that.
food.
You'll let her live at home because it's too expensive to.
Yeah.
But isn't the conservative position like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go get a better job so you can afford rent?
Yeah, like I tried kicking her out, but then some liberal tendencies in me. She knocks on the door in the middle of the night. Please, Dad, let me in. It's cold. And says Arizona. I say, no, my daughter.
You mean the wife that lives next door came knocking on your door and was like, "You're going to let her stay here as long as she wants."
Okay, get out of here.
See ya.
I apologize for Sean coming in like that. He doesn't know his place. He thinks he can slyly change the topic from Theist Thursday to political something. Okay, I got about half an hour left. If you're going to call in now. I really like Brittany because she threw me for a loop because she talked about stuff I hadn't really talked about before on my channel, at least not in that way. But Babis, you're like you're like an assembly line factory Christian, or just empty tomb tradition, eyewitnesses, blah blah blah. And of course you don't want to pray for me, for my water-soaked napkin. I got both my kids their first cars, but they both had an unlimited line. Yeah, cars are terrible things to buy. Probably the worst thing. Both my children are unbelievers. My wife tried to sway them to Christianity. I didn't try to sway them to atheism, and I still won. It's not a competition, but I won. No, it's not a competition. Doesn't matter, but I won. Paul Richards, don't even try with Babis. You know what? He needs it. I think we should encourage Babis to stay a Christian. Babis, if you're still listening, stay a Christian. In fact, be the best Christian. Like what you said, you were unclean now. Work towards being a better Christian every day. I sincerely encourage you. You need this, so do what you need to do to become a better person for the Lord. Emiel?
Oh, did it work? Am I?
Yeah.
Hello.
The best sound quality today.
What?
You have great sound quality.
Thank you. I haven't seen a lot of you, but from what I know, you're like one of the better atheists out there, like one of the more consistent ones. So I'm a Christian for all information.
Okay.
I don't care too much about the whole "does he exist or not" debate, because I'm pretty sure I won't give any particularly interesting arguments for you.
Okay.
But I guess like one thing that puzzles me about atheism is like I don't really see the point of even accepting it, even if you're not convinced by the arguments. Like from a philosophical stat, I don't know. It just seems so pointless to me.
What, atheism seems pointless?
Yes.
Hey, you're going to be
Like,
shocked.
if,
You're going to
if
be
there is
shocked.
some type of doubt.
You're going to be shocked
If there's some
when I
type
say
of
this.
doubt. Oh yeah.
I agree with you. It's pointless.
Oh yeah. So like, what even is the point of truth at that point?
Oh, to keep yourself alive. Like, you got to look both ways before you cross the street, right? It's true. If a truck's coming down the road, it's either true or it's not. And if it is true, you better... It behooves you to believe it's true so you don't die.
Well, it is a matter of life and death.
Well, if you want to,
If
live, it matters.
Yep. In what way? I'm not really sure what the comparison.
If
Yeah,
you
because,
want
I
to
mean,
live,
you're
if you truly want to live, then it matters to do things that put your life in jeopardy, right?
But okay, so in that case, I would say, I would argue theism is better in that case, because I would argue theists are generally happier and generally reproduce more and have more satisfaction in their lives. So in that case, it is a better life and therefore would be superior.
I would say that's true in some cases. I'm not sure if, like, they've done studies on this, and religious people tend to live longer and have more kids. But happiness, I'm not sure if that's true.
I mean, me personally, like I was pretty agnostic for a while. I did grow up in the church, but I pretty much what I was basically an atheist for a while. But yeah, I can for sure say I like wasn't happy as like I mean it's an agnostic.
Well, how old were you
full atheist
when you were an atheist? Don't say 15.
I'm only 17. I'm only 17. Yeah, I know. But,
so I was right. You were 15.
Yeah, 15 pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so you're still in the stage of, I need to philosophically have the correct worldview, and atheism is a nihilistic belief system worldview. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's not. It's naturalism, you could say, but not atheism. Atheism doesn't mean much. And so...
I'm sure I agree with that.
Well, what does atheism mean other than not believing that God exists? Rejecting the proposition that God is real, true. Well, it's nothing more than that.
Well, technically, it can be nothing. Technically, you can just say that like you could technically be an atheist and not be a naturalist. You could just say
right.
Like you could just say random stuff's happening without particular reason. We're just
you can be an atheist and believe in. You can be an atheist and believe in stupid stuff like crystals and astrology, and I mean, yeah.
And yeah. I guess you're right. I don't even think like naturalism is because like either way you're accepting absurd claims, aren't you? Like either like the idea that everything that like the laws of physics just started working, isn't it also kind of
hang on since you told me you're a minor, you're under 18, do you live at home?
Yeah. Yes.
Is your mom there?
No.
Is your dad there?
Yes.
Can you ask your dad permission to talk to me right now?
No, I'm not really. No, I would prefer not to.
Okay, then you gotta leave.
Okay.
If you don't have parental consent, I'm dead serious. If you don't have parental consent, we're done.
Oh yeah, this said 16 plus, so I thought it was fine. Okay, thanks for
Yep.
the very short conversation.
Man, why don't you ask your dad? I mean, the fact that you won't ask your dad tells me that you shouldn't be here. I do this to protect myself. I'm Emiel's dad. It's okay, Doug. Yeah. For some reason, I don't believe you. It's too bad he was 17 because sounds like he's a fairly smart guy. Could have had a good conversation. But rules are rules. If we don't have rules, we're just like the animals. Even though we are animals. But Emiel, I actually share your sentiment that if you become an atheist and you lose all hope, meaning, and purpose, then maybe you're better off staying a theist. But it didn't happen to me. I don't foresee it happening to me. It doesn't happen for a lot of atheists. In a way, it's becoming an atheist is freeing, because if you do come from a form of theism that is bad, then you shed the bad. Even if you come from a form of theism that's good, there's still, I think, more cognitive dissonance there than with atheism. Or naturalism, I should say. No, Mason Dry, I can't finish the conversation I was about to have. I've been pretty consistent with this rule. I think what happened with the meals has happened a couple times before, and I think I'm consistent, and I've ended the conversation pretty quickly. Do I ever regret turning Nathan woke? No, because I think he came from a really bad form of theism. Is his life better now than it was before? I still think yes. When will you play poker again? We played poker last night. You have to, if you guys want to play poker with me, you have to take initiative and email me. Sign up with pokernow.club. It's free. Have PayPal, have Venmo, and I'll put you on the list. That doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in, but you got to do the first steps. Oh, just what you think Will said. Well, I kind of already did. Emiel was giving the pragmatic argument for theism, and I don't disagree with him. Especially if you're young, needy, sort of a little desperate, it might behoove you. It might be good for you. I've been saying that word behoove today. It might be best for you to actually stay a theist for a few more years. We play Hold'em in Omaha, Sasha. Okay, got about, I don't know, 2:30, 20 more minutes. One, two, three, testing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can say it in French. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And there's my French alphabet. Stop wetting the napkin. Make it easier for God. Yeah, you're right. Instead of water-soaked napkins, just dry napkins. Oh, molecular alchemy. Your brother called in, right? Yeah, I had a great talk. And I did see your comments. I think. What do I think of Damian Brinkley? I don't know who that is. Blessings, PineCreek. Well, thank you, the Stone Builders. You wanted to talk about determinism, right?
Well, your title is your God dead?
Yeah.
So,
Is he?
of course not. Of course not. Aren't we evolutionary programmed to believe in such things?
Yes.
You'd probably say superstitions, being afraid of the dark, children being afraid of the unknown. So God is never dead. Even in communist China, they predict that in about 50 years' time.
Read the other part of my title. I'm agreeing with you.
And well in your mind.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
But okay, so we're agreed there. How's wokeness getting on in America?
It's alive and well in their heads too. But we're not supposed to talk politics. We come tomorrow. I'll probably be live streaming tomorrow. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Because I know. See, the thing is, I get so much flack talking politics, and yet it seems like when people call in, they want to talk politics.
Isn't it all part of the same thing?
I think so.
Different faces.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let's try and stick to theism. But for different reasons. God is not dead. Your God is not dead for different reasons. In communist China, it's not dead because after killing God, after burying God, as the communists did, they found that they need him. So they've resurrected the Christian God, it seems. In 50 years' time, the Christian God in China. I think China will become the biggest religion. In Muslim countries with oppressive kings and presidents, they need God because it's as Karl Marx said in the 1800s, it's the heart of a heartless world. It's where you can go to for comfort. So everyone's God is alive, and
what do you think my God is?
Your God, well, the Quran says that Islam is a religion for those who need a religion. So perhaps you found a way of maybe you've got another religion. Maybe it's this worldly life. Maybe it's you're chasing something else. PineCreek, what is the Muslim scholars used to say? Your God is the thing you cannot say no to. So, what can't you say no to? If you can't say no to something, that is your God.
Oh, okay, and then it would be me.
Ah, there you are. The Quran does say that people are chasing their own desires and making.
Because I can't say no to my own thoughts, right? Like my own existence, my own consciousness. I can't say no to that. If I try to, I'm just denying reality. So yeah.
But there are different. The mind has got different aspects to it. There's always the let's say the angelic side that is trying to steer you on the road of social conformity, and then there's perhaps your own desires that might be going against society. So there's always a conflict. There's never harmony within one's own mind. You have to compromise. You have to set
See,
a
I would
way
argue
to.
I would argue you share the same God I do. Like I just admitted that I am the God of my own life, because that's how you defined it. And I would say the same holds true for you as a Muslim.
Isn't that psychopathic then? A psychopath has their own desires and builds their world around their own desires. We can't all be psychopaths.
I will make the claim that we're
sociopath.
all like that.
We're all like that, perhaps.
Because, for example, do you do the five? What do you call them? The 5 things in Islam. What do they call them? Alms.
Don't the pillars. You mean
pillars?
There's pillars. There's 6 fundamentals of faith. There's let's say.
Do you choose to do those?
I choose. Well, we all fall short, but
yeah,
I believe they're all.
You're the God of your own life because you chose to follow Islam. You did. That makes you the God of your own life.
Okay, it's rational. I see irrational. Doing those things is quite rational, beneficial.
I know, yeah, but that still makes you the God. Same with Christians. When Christians choose, non-Calvinist Christians, when non-Calvinist Christians choose to obey God, to follow Jesus, they are making themselves the God of their own life, because they could have chose to do something else, but they said, no, I'm going to do what I want, and that is to serve Jesus.
Okay, you're talking about determinism. Well, the God of the Bible and the God of the Quran is the beginning and the end, and everlasting. So his start and his beginning, his end, wherever this world started from and ended, that's where he is. He knows the end as he knows the beginning. So it's not necessarily that he determined everything for you, but he knows what you will do, and so that's how he knows. So in that way, and he doesn't stop it. So whether it's determined or not is a debatable issue.
There's no difference in my mind. There's no difference between allowing and causing for an omniscient being.
But allowing and causing.
There's no difference for an omniscient being.
But there's no intervention. That's the issue. The intervention. If there was intervention, then there'll be no free will. Then free will be finished if there's intervention. So if you say there is no intervention, then strangely enough, paradoxically, there is choice.
Well, even that choice,
anyway,
God foreknew, ordained, and it's going to happen.
He foreordained it. He foretold it, foreknew it, ordained it because he knew we would choose it.
So when did that choice begin?
Before the world began, because
are your human choices coexistence with God to eternal past?
Well, he knows the future. It's all known. It's
right, but if he knows the future of what you'll choose, that means in some respect, your choice, your free will choice, has always existed, and there was never a time it didn't.
Yeah, well, the Quran says
it blows your brain, doesn't it? I mean, it's mind blowing that thought.
It is, but we have the Quran says that the angel said to God, "Look, you're going to create man. He's going to spill the blood of his brother. Why are you why are you doing this?" God just says, "I know what you know not." So maybe it's because God has confidence in us.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with determinism. That has to do with why he created. But my point is that if God knows the future, what's going to happen is going to happen. That he knows will happen.
He knows. And we have the choice. We have the choice of we have the choice, and that's why he knows. If he intervened all the time, then we wouldn't have choice.
But in order for you to believe that, you also have to believe that that choice is coexistent with God to eternal past. In other words, that there wasn't a time where that choice did not exist because God always knew it.
Yeah, we're becoming it's becoming too philosophical, which is good, which is good. However, I'm sure that you know your children and how they would react. For example, if you have potato chips, and if you put salt on your potato chips, and you know your children wouldn't eat. We call them chips. What do you call them? French fries, whatever you call them. Well, we call them chips. You call them fries. If you put salt on your fries, you know that your daughter will not touch them. Is that determinism, or is that her choice?
Yeah,
you just know her.
Right.
You know her or him.
But that's the difference between being a that's the difference between being a predictor and a knower. Like, I can predict my children's behavior with a high level of confidence, but that doesn't mean I know it with certainty, right? But with an omniscient being, that changes the game.
The Quran does call God the one who computes everything. So if he computes everything, he can predict everything.
Really? The Quran says computes everything?
Well, it's the hesab. Hesab, it can be mathematics. Mathematically, he is able to compute to it's to add up things. It's hesab.
That's
actually
interesting.
means
I never knew that.
Mathematics.
I learned something new today. Thank you. Because that makes Allah sound more like an open theist type God, where he actually reasons through things, which kind of weakens his omnipotence.
He asks us to reason. He knows. I don't think.
But when you say God computes, when you say Allah computes, to me that puts friction upon omnipotence and omniscience.
No, it's just cause and effect. God knows God knows the causes and the effects. That's how
I know, but computing makes it sound like that he's going through a process, like there's almost like that buffer screen thing where you got to wait till the result is finished computing before. I mean, like chess players. When people play chess, grandmasters play chess. Oftentimes they don't compute; they just instinctively know the right answer. But other times they actually have to think about it, and you make it sound like Allah actually has to think about things once in a while.
Well, it all depends how you. Does a computer think? Does it just have? It's got. It just knows what to do. Does a computer think?
No. But you would say Allah thinks.
It just does it. Well, Allah computes. Allah.
You don't think Allah thinks?
Allah knows. No, he knows. He's the all. He knows rather than.
Okay.
We think we are the ones that reason. I mean, one of the things that we are told in the Quran is it's like a drum beat. We have to reason.
I gotta ask Apostate Prophet. You know that terrible guy, Apostate Prophet, who has a YouTube channel. I gotta ask him about this.
He knows nothing about. He knows. Hold on. Yeah. Ask him to. Do you know what there's a guy called Ali Dawah. Ali Dawah challenged him to a debate, and Ali Dawah came off like an idiot, really. But it was worth it because he made us realize that AP Radwan was never a Muslim, because a Muslim knows how. It's like the Lord's Prayer. Every Christian knows the Lord's Prayer, but he made it clear that Apostate Prophet, he just couldn't recite the Al-Fatiha, the prayer that every Muslim 5 times a day would say, constantly. So don't ask Apostate Prophet anything about Islam. Ask the real Muslim.
Okay, but you gotta have, if you're being that nitpicky about, like,
nitpicky.
Hang on.
Derek,
Hang on. Let me see if
Derek
I.
knows the Lord's Prayer. Derek
Our
knows the
Father
Lord's
who art
Prayer.
in heaven, hallowed be
Okay,
thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in the heavens. Give us this day
you
our
know
daily
it.
bread. Yeah. And forgive us our trespasses
You,
as we
you,
forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thou is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. But my guess is I said one thing wrong there. But yeah,
well,
I still
Catholics
remember
might Catholics might disagree with the last bit, the kingdom and the glory. Anyway, or some of you add it in, but you know it. Whether it's the old version or the new version, I know it as well because I went to a primary school where we all said it in morning assembly. So I also I also know it off by heart. But the apostle prophet just does. If you can't be a Muslim and pray and not know our version of the Lord's Prayer, which we say more often than Christians. So,
But he's really good at triggering Muslims, and I respect him for that.
Okay, that's not the matter. But he might be able to talk the talk, but it's just nonsense.
But David Wood, now he knows Islam.
He doesn't know Islam. He's just a hater. He really is just a hater. His only thing is, the prophet is married a 9-year-old, and Islam wages war.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, there's nothing wrong with marrying a 9-year-old, right? I don't understand why those guys get so upset.
That is not believed by all Muslims. And
do you believe that?
By the standard of we had a discussion about this long time ago. I don't want to go over it.
I know. I want people to hear it. Do you believe that the prophet married a 9-year-old?
There are discrepancies in that narrative.
But do you believe that?
You add up well, I don't believe it because it's there's
12-year-old
discrepancies with the ages. Sheikh Atabek Shakurov says she was 18. Sheikh Uthman says she might have been 14.
If it were true, let's say Allah himself revealed it to me in a way that you and I could be certain. If it were true,
if it was true, I would say if it was true by the standards of those days, which nobody PineCreek, nobody objected to until the 20th century. Nobody, and even when it was first objected to, the missionaries were encouraged to get the Muslims to marry 12-year-olds rather than 9-year-olds. So even the European missionaries thought.
But can you admit,
years old?
Like, I feel icky if my daughter was when she was 9, marrying, let's say, a 40-year-old man. That'd be very icky.
It's a different time. It's a different time. In those days, when you got your period as a girl, there was no university.
But if it were true that Muhammad married a 9-year-old today, you wouldn't have a problem with it. You would still be a Muslim.
Today, no, I wouldn't. I would say this isn't right for our time. No. But
so right and wrong is dependent on the time.
Otherwise, we are anachronistic. We can't.
I know, but we're talking about morality, right? We're talking about kids having coitus. Is it right
even the idea of kids? Kids is what in the past. Once you reached puberty, you were not a kid. There was no such thing as a
fine. But are you like me, who says that morality is not only subjective but it is relative? That depending on the time, the context.
There is, because in Islam we have something that culture is also part of Sharia culture,
right?
Which means that
context.
You can't just go. Yeah. So
yeah.
That's
so you're a moral relativist like me.
If Islam says if that's how you want to interpret Islam, then that's it.
You're going to get in trouble with your Muslim friends.
I would just say that Islam allows for culture to be part of Sharia, part of the law.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take one more call. If you want to talk about how evil the Israelites are, you can call in tomorrow.
I might do that. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye bye.
And for the record, I love the Jews. I love putting the in front of the Jews. Oh no, no, no,
Yes, 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 yes.
no. What is this?
Yeah,
Is that a pride flag behind you?
that's a. Let's see if I can focus up here. It's a wall. I'm in a shopping center.
Are you
And,
gay, Dogbark?
Am I what?
Gay?
Gay?
Yeah. Are you a homosexual?
No.
You sure look like one.
Well, that's something I want to talk to you about.
What? Go ahead. What?
Why are you so disrespectful of older people like me, who's old enough to be your father?
Because you're a dead man walking.
Yeah, that's another
No,
disrespect.
hey, come on, Dogbark. I respect my elders.
You do not.
I
You do
changed.
not.
I changed their diapers.
You do not.
I feed
You
them
do
their
not
pablum.
respect me.
You got all your teeth.
I'm old. I'm 73. I'm old enough to be your father, and you do not
No,
respect me at all.
yeah, I guess you could be.
You've just proven it.
Well, it's not because I don't disrespect you because of your age. I disrespect you because of your brain.
Oh, okay, yeah. Would somebody please call in that's got a higher IQ than Dogbark after you hang up on me?
I couldn't have said it better than you. Like
That's what you have said. I'm just repeating you.
yeah, you got a problem with that?
Yeah. Huh?
Did I hurt your feelings?
No, I don't want your respect. The Bible, has a name for you, and I don't want to be respected by people with that name. I want to be respected with people that believe. I want to be respected.
I just want to know why you call into a show that's as boring as mine.
That's the only part of it's exciting is when I can call in and try and tell you what's happening.
Hey, I am I'm very willing to send you a gift this Christmas.
Oh, so nice of you.
You know what I'm going to send you?
What?
Those nose hair scissors.
Yeah. I remember after I talked to you last time, you hung up on me, and then you said, "Well, there's no callers and everything. Let's talk about nose hairs."
Yeah,
And you did. Yeah, you did.
Like you got to admit, like look at yourself. Can you see you got a really long one hanging out of your right nostril?
Yeah. I do it just for you, Piney.
Do you have a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend?
No. My wife died about 8 years ago.
Okay. Well, did you trim your nose hairs when she was alive?
If she mentioned it, I would. I don't have her around to check on me. I don't have her around to check on me anymore.
I'll be your wife.
So,
you need to trim
I'm
your nose
going
hairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going around unchecked. Otherwise, I don't have anybody checking on me no more.
You have no friends?
I'm unchecked. Do I have what?
Friends.
Sure.
Well, they check up on you, right?
Well, they don't check my nose hairs, but yeah,
Well,
they
they're
check up on me real good.
No, they notice some Dogbark, but they're too shy. They're not as honest as I am. I'm an honest atheist, and I will tell you, you need to it's literally an inch long. You need to chop that off.
Sure. When I go to the barber shop, they check me out and fix that kind of stuff.
They do? When's the last time you've been to the barber?
That was a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, you're full of testosterone if you can grow nose hair that long, that fast.
Wow. That's a compliment.
Yeah, you're a real man.
And
you don't know what to say now.
well, I got my first beef off that you don't respect elderly people.
No, it's just
you've
you.
Proven it. It's just me. I'm the only elderly person that you disrespect, right?
I am your friend, Dogbark. Only friends tell each other about their nose hairs. Like, if I didn't care about you, I would let you go through life with that thing hanging there. But no, I care about you.
Oh, that's so nice. And you know, I love you, Piney. And even though I've never taken you out to dinner or taken you to a movie, I still love you.
Okay.
Do you love me?
No.
Yeah, I thought so. Just checking.
Do you need my love?
No, but I would like to. I'd like to have your love.
You would like to have my love.
Sure. I like everybody to love me because I'm so lovable.
You're needy.
I'm needy?
Yeah, I don't like needy men.
Oh, I'm not needy at all.
I would respect you more if you said, Doug, I don't need your love. I know who I am. Ah, then you would have my respect. But no, you said you are just so needy.
Oh, I'm so needy. So needy, I need your love. You don't want people to love you?
No,
I guess not.
Not strangers.
No.
I don't need their love.
No, you want yeah. I don't need their love. I want their love.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I like people who like me.
Why?
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why?
Yeah.
Why do I want people to like me?
Yeah. Is there some,
because I live in a world of.
Is there some
I live in a
deficiency
world
in
of
you
people.
that you need people to like you and love you?
No, I live in a world of people, and I see people all around me, and I want them to like me.
Now, I want people to not physically hurt me, not steal my stuff, but I don't need people to love me or like me.
Well, I didn't say I needed it, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to go play some hearts with your buddies. But
play some hearts?
Yeah, play some cards. And go.
I don't play cards.
No. Actually, when we get off this call in 10 seconds, go straight to the barber and get that nose fixed.
Can I give you my other beef? Quickly,
yeah.
Yeah. The I think it was NDD or something like that. You had an NDD, non-disclosure disease that everybody wants to have because they don't want to be left out of the.
No disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I saw that after one of my calls. I was looking at your station that was up there, and so what is that? And people are talking about having these, having a fake disease and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I'm 73 and I don't need no fake disease. I got real disease, a bunch of them. And I'll tell you what, Piney, all those people that are on that channel and doing that NDD, it was kind of funny. But I'm telling you, you're all going to have all these diseases like I am. I'm just at the front of your line. You're all coming along. You're all behind me. You're all going to get all these diseases and all these things, and then eventually you're going to die. You don't need to fake it. You don't need to fake it. It's all coming.
How much?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, you don't need to fake it. They're all coming. I'm at the front of the line. I can tell you some of the things that are going on, and all your jokes and everything about all these ailments that people have and everything. You're all going to have them. You're all going to have them just right after me. I'm at the front of the line. You're all going to have them, and you're all going to be elderly. And if you're men, you're going to go into a senior fun session with a lot of seniors, and you're going to find out if you're a man that you got 20 women to every man in that place, and you're going to think, wow, is this a Taylor Swift club or what? No, that's not the case. All the men are dying off early, and then the women are going to be left over. That's the way it is when you're elderly.
Isn't that good?
Well, it's good to have a lot of women, I guess, but it's not good if you're a man and you're not going to be around to enjoy it.
Well, but my last days are going to be like after my wife dies. I got the pick of the litter is what you're saying. You're encouraging me.
Yeah, if you like people that look like your grandmother.
Well, do these ladies clip their nose hairs at least?
I haven't checked, and I don't see very well. That's something that you have to do for me.
Dogbark, I respect the wisdom and the years that you've lived on this planet, and I hope you live many more years.
Yeah. So when you're gonna hang up, are you gonna disrespect me some more and cut me down? And
Moment of contemplation. Yeah, experience all those emotions. Why are you trying to ruin Christians' Christmas season? Oh, no. I'm not trying to ruin anything. I'm a lover, not a ruiner. I gotta admit, Dogbark, if you're listening, you do make my day. This channel would be nothing without you. This whole live stream was garbage until you showed up. You bring me hope, meaning, and purpose, Dogbark. You are my savior. You are my Lord. You are the wind beneath my wings, Dogbark. When I look at you, not only do I see nose hair and a tongue that just won't quit, I see wisdom, knowledge, and experience. And I'm kidding. I mean, there are other callers were great too. But you, Dogbark, you were the best. Thank you, Mason Dry. Happy to see you, Doug. Another Thursday for the books. Yes. Thank you for the $9.99. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Now I'm off to the police station. Poof. I won't tell you why.